I'm very much in a space right now where I'm not doing anything that's going to compromise my peace and happiness.
Period.
So I think just taking control, making sure you like maintain your power, don't give your power away to anybody. That I feel like is the key to like truly being happy in or out of a relationship.
Happiness is really important. You can't do anything well if you're not happy. You can't be a good parent, good spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend. You can't be a good coworker. Happiness is important, and that doesn't mean euphoria every day, but a basic sense of peace.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but a lot of you guys would be a whole lot happier and less miserable and feeling less stuck if you stopped trying to live your life to make your friends happy, your coworkers happy, your family happy, your community, trying to do things that are acceptable to those groups of people. You have to live for yourself. And I think today is a good day to start.
You are responsible for your own happiness, and you are responsible for your life. No one else can fill you up on the inside. And that's what they mean when they say it's an inside job. Other people can add to your happiness, and that's a wonderful thing when that does happen. But if we rely solely on something outside of ourselves to make us happy, then you'll always be at the mercy of other people or outside factors. And that's a recipe for disaster or emotional turmoil. So it starts with you, and you are fully capable of making yourself happy and creating a life that lights you up and fulfills you. Hey ladies, it's Tiffany Celeste. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're focusing on prioritizing your happiness because you deserve to be happy in this life. You are meant for more than just working to pay bills or to be of service to others. And it's okay to want to be poured into, but you have to set the standard for yourself. Here on this channel, I focus heavily on creating content that will help you become your best self by leveling up your mental health, prioritizing your self-care, evaluating your relationships, and creating a lifestyle of ease so that you can have the happiness that you desire for your life. And if any of these things sound interesting to you, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications, and please like the video. And if you are done with making excuses and want to be happy and start living your dream life that you were always meant to have, then check out my Dream Life Workbook, which is your step-by-step roadmap to build the life that you always promised yourself that you would have. Now let's get into the rest of the video, and I'll be back at the end with additional commentary and takeaways to help you start prioritizing your happiness.
Figuring out what makes you happy is actually easier than you think when you have just a simple reframe in your mind. I think in the age of instant gratification, we tend to think that happiness and joy are these big, grand emotions, as if it has to mean that you're just bursting at the seams with excitement and fun and grandioseness. And if that's how you view joy, you will always overlook it and lose sight of it, because that doesn't leave any room for all the things throughout your day that bring you joy, make you laugh, or fill your heart up. As someone who definitely used to be very unsatisfied with my life and unhappy and unclear about what joy and happiness would even look like for me, I started practicing gratitude every single day. I journal every single morning, and I made it a point to add writing 3 things that I'm grateful for into my journaling routine. And I would never write things like I'm grateful for my family or I'm grateful for a new day, because those are just too easy. So I was always pushing myself to dig deeper. I would always try to think about my previous day or the week and things that happened that I was really grateful for. Let me just read you some examples so you know what I mean. I'm grateful that I got everything done on my to-do list today. I'm grateful for the growth in my relationship with money. I'm grateful that yesterday when I was on the plane, there was no one else seated in my row, so I got to stretch out. And as I'm scrolling through this, I'm going to tell you guys, from like when I started to like today, the things on my gratitude list have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, because like I am such a grateful person. So the things that I receive get bigger and grander and more exciting, and I'm seeing the things that I desire come into fruition because I choose more gratitude and I choose joy. The point is, we have to start recognizing life's little gifts that make us happy, even if it's just for a second, even if just for 3 to 5 minutes, something just made your day. day a little bit better. You felt a little bit of peace. You need to be able to recognize those things. The more you notice them, I promise, the more joyful of a person you will become. Another thing I started to do through this process as I was really getting clear on my joyful moments was make a joy list. I'm gonna just add my list here just so you guys can see it. And I add to it all the time. And I look at it when I need it. When my days feel dry, when I'm sad, when I'm upset, when I just feel like I need a reminder of how I can bring myself a little more joy at any given moment. That's the key. Because let me tell you, do you know how powerful of a person you become when you can cultivate joy when you want to, without anything or anyone needing to give it to you? You will skyrocket and become a magnet for amazing things. And not to get too spiritual, but you are really transcending when you're not looking at happiness as something that you chase, as if it's outside of you and only other people and other things can bring that to you. You start seeing it as something you can create internally whenever you want. I'm always talking about personal power. I'm always talking about knowing that you have agency, you have choices. This is where you start. You start giving yourself choice. Take your power back and start giving yourself choices.
What can I do to be happy?
Number one, you have to own your own happiness. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily give you a happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff. The second thing that I think people need to do is challenge their own story, because people torment themselves by how they see their life. Challenge your own story. Change the way you talk to yourself about who you are and what happened to you and what you're going to do in your life. You wrote the script. Change the story. Change the dialogue. You can, am I right? You know,
Yeah.
The third thing that I think is very important is to enjoy the journey, not the destination. A lot of us delay our happiness. When I get to this level, when I get my degree, when I get the kids, when I get married, I'm going to be happy. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the whole step, the whole process. Every day that you get up to strive for whatever it is you're after. You know, I'm a goal-oriented guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't celebrate when you get to the finish line. Celebrate all along the way. Celebrate all along the way.
Some people are naturally happy, they're always bubbly, they're a walking ball of sunshine, and I love that for them. But if you're honest and you're like me, you have to work hard on your happiness. Here are some of the things that I do to stay on top of me being happy. 1, I stay out of things that don't concern me. If it's not my business, I'm not in it and I do not care. 2, I stay away from naggers and complainers. Life is already hard, I can only deal with so much and I can't constantly have that in my ear. 3, I only follow happy people. I only want to see that on my timeline because I am training my mind. I'm conditioning my mind to be in a certain mood. 4, I find any way at all that I can release stress. It can be exercise, hanging out, wine. It's unrealistic to be happy all the time, but sometimes you have to take control of your day before your day takes control of you.
I will never forget the day my therapist looked at me and was like, Kate, you need to start doing things that make you happy. And I will never forget it because I had no clue what made me happy. No clue. I sobbed after she said that. And I looked at her and I was like, I don't know. I truly don't know. And admitting that you don't know what makes you happy is also kind of admitting that you don't know who you are. And that's a really terrifying thing to come to terms with. And I think what took me so long to figure out what made me happy is I kept looking at what made other people happy and kept trying to make it make me happy, and it just wasn't working. And the more I did that, honestly, the more lost I felt, and I felt like something was wrong with me. Like, why don't these things make me happy? Why is nothing making me happy? Why doesn't this work for me? Why doesn't that work for me? So I definitely think a great place to start is think less conventional and think more authentic. So think less about what's aesthetic and trendy and all over social media, and think more like, what kind of weirdo am I? Like, what do I love to do? Like, what brings me a sense of joy? And the next point that I think is the biggest point is it's not so much of what makes you happy, because no person or activity can give you happiness. It's a perspective, it's a choice, but it's more you want to find something that brings you into the present moment. That's called a state of flow, a flow state. And that's what you're going for. Like, that's what you want to find. Because when you find something that you are so focused on what you're doing, you are so into what's in front of you that you can't think about the past and you can't think about the future, that's happiness. And like, for an example of talking about things that are trendy, going on walks. It is so popular for people to go on morning walks, go on walks at night, that it makes them feel more peaceful, it makes them feel more grounded. I forced myself to go on walks for so long because I just assumed it was supposed to make me feel that way. And I have finally found that like I don't love going on walks. Sometimes they feel good, but for the most part, if I'm choosing to do that in the moment to like feel happy or feel grounded, it doesn't work for me. I tend to think a lot about my past, a lot about my future. I tend to overanalyze my life when I go on walks. It doesn't work for me. And you see, it works for so many people. For so many people, that's like their therapy every day is going for a walk. It doesn't work for me. And this is why I think it's so important that, like, yes, take inspiration from other people, vet out things that other people do, try different things, but be so honest about, does this work for me? Is this making me feel good? Is this bringing me a sense of joy? Is this bringing me into the present moment, or is this making me go a little bit to the past, a little bit to the future? Is this causing me to overthink? Like, am I here right now? And like that right there, like that's the gold. It's not what crazy fun thing can I do that can bring me happiness. No, it's what can I do that brings me into the present moment? What can I do that makes me be here and now?
Once you realize this, your entire life will change forever. It's that happy people have one habit that unhappy people don't, and it all gets back to their psychology. My name is Ryan Clarkin. I'm a mindset coach, and I'm here to help you get your mind on your side so you can create a life of your own design. If you're into that, you can give me a follow. The most unhappy people in the world see their life and the world through a lens of self-victimization. And the happiest people in the world see their life through a perspective of personal responsibility. Happy people know that life in itself isn't enough to make you happy. If you leave it up to your own biology, you're kind of screwed. You have to put energy, effort, and intention into cultivating your own happiness, regardless of the circumstances that are occurring in your life. Because the truth is, we don't have control over what occurs in life. There's a lot of random shit that happens. But what we do have control over, the one thing that we have control over, is our perspective and how we interpret life. And if you set a standard that you're going to interpret your life through an empowering lens, that you are going to extract lessons even out of the most difficult events, and that you're going to develop a beautiful state of mind, and you're going to exercise your mind by practicing gratitude and focusing on the things that are working when breakdowns happen and focusing on solutions when breakdowns happen instead of getting lost in the downward spiral of why me. This is the mindset that makes all the difference. And I know, easier said than done, but that's why it's called self-development. That's why it's called inner work. And as someone who's been coaching people on their mindset for a decade, I can tell you this. If you exercise your mind, it will pay off in dividends for the rest of your life.
Hey y'all, so many people ask me, how do I remain so happy and so positive within life, no matter what comes my way? And I wanted to come on here and just answer it for you guys in like a brief little, say. Step number 1 to obtaining a happy life is choosing. You must choose and decide that you want your life to be better. Once you make that commitment to whomever you believe in, I promise you things will change just like that. It may sound very cliche, but I'm telling you, once you just choose and say, you know what, today I'm deciding to live a better life, things will actually get better. So number 2, you must own your own happiness and understand that it starts from within. When I say no one and nothing can literally bring you that happiness, like having happiness within yourself, I mean that. I mean no family, no friends, no boyfriends, no materialistic object, no car, no house can bring you that happiness if you don't have it within yourself. So own that happiness. Choose today and decide that I want to live a happy life and start feeling happy within yourself. Being happy with where you are in life right now. Learn to appreciate. Gratitude is the answer to life. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Become aware of your thoughts, your actions, and the way that you are viewing your life as it is right now. And I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to start every negative thought. I want you to start having a positive thought to it. I want you to ask yourself. I want you to patiently and calmly talk yourself through your emotions. When you get a thought, don't beat yourself up about it. I want you to challenge it and be like, hey, so where did this thought come from? Is it real? Why do I feel this way? Okay, I feel this way because of X, Y, and Z. Examine the thoughts. Really actually try to challenge yourself. And once you get that clarity, now I want you to find a solution to it, right? Because we don't just talk about things. We want to have a solution to everything that we mention. If we're mentioning things without a solution, then it doesn't serve a purpose. Last but not least, I need for you to enjoy the journey. I would be lying to you if I told you that it would not be a little bit challenging. It wouldn't be hard, but you have to make the decision and the commitment to yourself to want better for life, and know that you have to accept whatever comes with it. You have to weather the storm before it gets a little bit greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that you got to go through some things to grow through them and to get better and to have better in life. So enjoy the journey. Understand that you made this commitment and you're willing to do whatever it takes to be happy, and you will get that happiness. You know what I'm saying? So once you make that commitment within and in your inner self, the outer world will start reflecting back to you, and it will bring you so much more happiness. It's just that simple, y'all. Once you become aware, once you choose, you become aware, and then you start acting as if, things will magically shift for you.
Read something the other day. It said, the key to happiness is letting a situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be.
Let me know in the comments if you heard anything in this video that resonated with you. What are your takeaways? Share with others in the comment section what you are currently doing to sustain your happiness. What's working for you? And I have 3 additional points that I wanted to share that I think will aid in prioritizing your happiness and experiencing more fulfillment. So, point number 1, you want to reconnect with your inner voice. I think that we often let the noise of society and social media drown out our true desires. But you may be asking, but how do we reconnect with our inner voice? I believe it's through quiet reflection and being self-aware. So schedule time for solitude, whether through journaling, meditation, or sitting in your car for a car therapy session, as I like to call it. And start listening to the whispers of your thoughts. And it's in those moments of quiet that your true self can be heard. If you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, then you already know what my next point is going to be. So, point 2, establish boundaries. So, establish boundaries that protect your well-being. And again, establish those boundaries, girl. So you hear this often from me, but do you really understand the power behind it? I think of boundaries as guardrails that protect your mental, emotional, physical well-being. And when you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. There's this quote that I love from Brene Brown, and she says something like, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. I'm now at that age where I absolutely have no reservations at all about disappointing other people, if that means I'm honoring my needs, values, and peace. Because when you say yes to things when you really want to say no, you got to think about where your energy is going. Are you constantly drained by people who don't pour into you? Do you find yourself sacrificing your needs to make others comfortable? So start setting small, firm boundaries that align with your values. When you start saying no and stop people pleasing, you reclaim parts of you that you thought were lost. And I'm saying this as a recovering people pleaser as well. So I'm not just talking at you, but to myself as well. And I want you to remember, prioritizing your happiness doesn't make you selfish. It makes you whole. And point 3, practicing gratitude can shift your mindset. I know you hear this one a lot, but it really works when you are making the effort to be grateful for things that aren't always over the top. And when I say gratitude, I'm not just referring to writing a list of things you're thankful for in your journal, although that is a great start. But this is about living in gratitude. Psychological studies have shown that gratitude rewires the brain, creating new neural pathways that enhance feelings of well-being. It's a practice that turns what you have into enough and what you want into possibility. So each day, make it a habit to pause and acknowledge 3 things, big or small, that brings you joy. Maybe it's the sun shining on your face in the morning, or the way your dog looks at you with those puppy dog eyes that melt your heart. By shifting your mindset from I need more to be happy to I appreciate what I already have, you align your heart with being fulfilled. So as we close, remember, prioritizing your happiness isn't an indulgence. It's a commitment to live a life that is rich, not in just material things, but in meaning. I encourage you to reconnect with your inner voice, set boundaries that protect your peace, and cultivate happiness. And don't forget to check out the Dream Life Workbook and start building the dream life you were always meant to have. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll see you in the next video.